My name is Tessa. I'm 17 and I'm a junior. I'm a pretty good student and I've been cheering for about 7 years. I'm a flyer in cheer, and one day at practice we were stunting and we were going to do a cradle, and when we cradled something happened where my base didn't catch me and I fell on my head, and I don't remember it happening. I still don't remember what happened. My first memory, I remember hearing things. I remember my eyes were closed, and then I remember my coach I heard noises, but I couldn't really like figure out what they were saying. And then I remember my trainer Ashley coming in and making sure my neck was fine and sitting me up. And then I remember my coach saying that she called my mom.
I was at the school when the concussion happened. I was at a basketball game. When I got to practice, she was lying on the mat on her back. Upon evaluation, we cleared the C-spine, made sure that she had no numbness and tingling in the upper or lower extremities. I was then able to sit her up, start a concussion evaluation. Upon evaluation, she had a headache, she was complaining of pressure in her forehead, she had dizziness, blurred vision, and she was sick to her stomach. During the evaluation, she had delayed memory recall, but she was able to know where she was and the time and day of the week. Upon evaluation, we called her mom, who transported her to the emergency room for further evaluation. Tessa was referred to the Beaumont Concussion Clinic by the emergency room.
When I first saw Tessa in my clinic, I walked into the room and she was with her mom, and she was sitting on the exam table, and she didn't really look like she was in a lot of discomfort. She actually managed to smile, but when I looked at her post-concussion symptom scale, I could see that she was affected more than she looked. At the time, what I was told from Mom and from Tessa, that there was a lot of consensus. People weren't sure if she really lost consciousness or not. And it sounds like, the consensus after speaking with everybody was that she did not lose consciousness. But even though she was awake, Tessa has no memory of any of the events leading right up to the fall. And Mom said that in the emergency room afterwards, she was speaking slowly, she was answering questions slowly, she was not herself at all. And in the emergency room, she was diagnosed with a concussion and discharged home. And her mom states that she really didn't feel that her daughter was back to herself for a full 24 hours, where she was lucid and able to understand what had happened. So when she came to see me, her symptoms were very typical of what I see in concussion. She had difficulty with concentration. It was right before school ended for Christmas break, so the positive part of all of that was that she was going to have a couple weeks off where she didn't have to be in school. So immediately I was happy to hear that.
After the holiday break, I was feeling much better. I could do pretty much everything. My focus still wasn't 100% there, but it slowly got back to where it was before. And in terms of cheer, I slowly progressed and focused on building my strength back up and building my endurance back up. And I slowly started with the steps back to cheering, and that started with stretching and increasing my heart rate, and then slowly back to tumbling and stunting again.
When I did Tessa's neurologic exam, it was normal. So when I was giving her discharge instructions to her and her mom, I asked that she drink a lot of fluids and maintain cognitive rest and complete physical rest. The only thing that she really could do was some gentle walking. When I sent her back to school, I gave her a return to learn program for her, which included dimming computer screens and fluorescent lighting in the classroom if needed. I also asked that the teachers give her maybe notes ahead of time before class started, or had someone help her take notes so that it was easier for her to pay attention in class and not have to take notes and focus on what the instructor was telling her to do. I ordered Tylenol or Motrin for her to take as needed because her headaches were intermittent and she didn't need to have something scheduled around the clock.
So also when Tessa came back, we wanted to make sure that she was ready to return to cheerleading activities, which included making sure she was stretched out because she hadn't done cheerleading exercises in over 3 weeks at that time. So that involved stretching, also cardio activity to make sure that she was ready for those long practices. We also did some reading to make sure that she was comfortable with that in classes, and then some saccade work, which was involving the rabbit on the screen.
When I saw Tessa at her follow-up visit a week later, she was feeling much better overall. She was still having very mild headaches that happened 1 or 2 times a day, and she said that it would happen in school if there was a lot of noise or a high stimulus environment. She said that if she would go into a quiet room for about 20 or 30 minutes or a quiet area, the symptoms would go away on their own. So I didn't clear her at that visit to go back to sport because she was still having these mild headaches. I didn't see her again in clinic. I told her and her mom she could follow up with her primary care physician if she needed, but I did keep in contact with her return to sport through Ashley.
From the date of my concussion to when I returned to competing for cheer, it was probably about 5 weeks.
Once I got the email back from Ashley that Tessa had fully recovered and she had completed her steps to return to cheer, I signed her MHSAA form so that she could return to competition.
After my concussion, it was really hard for me to get back into the swing of things, but I'm really grateful for Ashley and Susan because they helped me realize how important it is to take care of myself and take the right steps back to returning to play. And now I'm happy and looking forward to my next season of sideline cheer.